Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Ibishani binti Ismail. I'm from EC110 c. My ID number is 2019289962. There are few interesting info about the background of Philippines. First is the Philippines are found in Southeast Asia. It's located between Philippine Sea and South China Sea with no land border. Philippines also has almost 7,107 islands overall in their country. Philippines had a population of 105 million inhabitants in 2017, and it is estimated to be increased by 10 million people in 2022. During World War II, the Philippines are forced under Japanese occupation, but eventually they success to gain their own independence in 1946. Okay, let's move to the very interesting part of the Philippines. Okay, the Philippines have a quite stable economy. The Philippines national debt is on a decreasing path, which shows a good sign for a flourishing economy. In the Philippines country, the most important sector is service sector, which it contribute almost 16% of shares in gross domestic product generation. Okay, let me look at the share of economic sectors in gross domestic product or GDP from year 2009 and until 2019. As you can see, there are three types of sectors, which is agriculture sector, industry sector, and services sector. For the agriculture sector, from 2009 until 2019, it shows declining or increasing trend. Next, for the industry sector, it also shows the increasing trend, but in services sector, it shows increasing trend from 2009 until 2019. As you can see from the bar, I can conclude that the most important sector in the country is the service sector, as I mentioned above, because service sector contributes 16 or almost 16% in the gross domestic product, and it also shows increasing path during year by year. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amin Nadira and I'm going to explain about the inflation rate in Philippines. The total population of Philippines is 110 million in 2021, and the annual growth rate has decreased significantly since the 1960, where it was 3.3% to now where it was about 1.3%. But as you can see in the graph, there is the total inflation of Philippines for the past 10 years. As for the highest rate of inflation is upon year of 2008. It is because the continuing higher annual price in the heavily weighted food, beverage, and tobacco. It added that the price in other commodity groups rose more quickly as to the overall annual inflation in May, which hit the highest level since 10.5% in the January 1999. And the lowest inflation is on the year of 2016. This is happened because due to the adverse effects that brought by the series of tropical cyclones that devastated the country in that year. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum to my beloved lecturer, which is Madam Azma. I am Julia and I'm going to present regarding the issues related to the inflation in Philippines. And the issue that I choose is the pandemic COVID-19 because we know that it is really famous right now, right? Okay, so I'm sure that even Madam or even myself wants to know what is the impact and what is the effects of pandemic COVID-19 towards the inflation rate of Philippines. And for your information, Madam, the Philippines right now is currently ranked in 23 worldwide with the total cases of 1.45 million total cases of pandemic of COVID-19. Okay, so as the cases is rising up, so the government struggles to contain the virus and the economic team is struggling also to restrain food prices from going up further amid job losses and business closures. For information, the inflation rate of this country went up to a year high of 4.7% in February 2021. Therefore, the Philippines Department of Finance also unveiled a stimulus package amounting to 27.1 Philippine peso or 0.1% of GDP to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. This is designed to ensure that funding is available for the efforts of Department of Health to contain the spread of COVID-19 and to provide economic relief to those whose businesses and livelihoods have been affected. Per them, the worst case impact of COVID-19 towards Philippines is the decline of 0.68% in the tourism sector. So, we can see that Philippines' economy is highly affected by this pandemic COVID-19. Also like Malaysia, right? Let us keep on praying that this pandemic will end soon, inshallah, and we can going out having our normal life, inshallah. Thank you.
Auzubillahiminasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And I hope you have a very good day, madam. My name is Nur Fatini binti Abdul Halim from ECO211 and I will be presenting about the government stimulus package to overcome the inflation problem. And my text is over here. Without further ado, I will try to read and explain it as best as I can. Okay. The fiscal stimulus package. In response to surge in the price of food and petroleum products in 2008, the government in Philippines expanded rice price subsidy program and launched a number of programs meant to provide temporary relief to vulnerable sectors including the Pantawid Kurianti and Tulong Para Kelolo at Lola. The Pantawid Kurianti was meant to soften the impact of rising costs of electricity on poor households. So they provide a one-time cash subsidy of Philippine peso 500 to qualify the senior citizen, and who are the person that would deserve Philippine peso, which is 500, who are at least 70 years old, who are not be covered by any of the government retirement benefit scheme, and who do not have any regular income in their daily life. So in response to projected economy downturn following the contraction of export and remittance of overseas Filipino workers, and the government formulated the Economic Resiliency Plan, which is named ERP, and announced the same in early 2009. The plan aimed to ensure the sustained growth and attain the higher end of the government's economic growth, the target. So this is to pursue the counter-cyclical of policy, to save and create as many jobs as possible, to protect the most vulnerable sectors, poorest of the poor, returning overseas Filipino workers and workers in export industry, to ensure low and stable price, and to improve competitiveness in preparation for the global rebound. The program that formed part of 2009 budget intervention include labor-intensive community-level infrastructure, the expansion of some social protection program, and comprehensive livelihood and emergency employment program. The budgeted intervention stressed the implementation of small quick disburse projects that generate jobs. In conclusion, we can see that the government of Philippines trying to provide as many jobs as they can to their citizen so they can have a better life, a better salary to support in their citizen life. And also the method that the government Philippine use is the fiscal policy, which is a higher rate of income tax could reduce spending and demand inflationary pressure. Thank you.
My name is Nurin Jazlina binti Muhammad Sofi. Based on all the study and research on Philippines inflation, we can conclude that Republic of Philippines have experienced high and unstable inflation rates. Philippines is located in Southeast Asia with a population of 105 million inhabitants in 2017 and estimated to be increased by another 10 million people in 2022. In this assignment, we already disclosed about the Philippines' 10 years of inflation data. Throughout the years, inflation rate in the Philippines have become the defining factor of the Filipino people economic lifestyle and financial status as well. As for the highest rate of inflation is up in year 2008, it is because the continuing higher annual price of basic commodities and the lowest of inflation rate within 10 years of research is on the year 2016 due to the adverse effects that brought by the series of tropical cyclones that devastated the country in the year. The Filipino people and many other parties have hugely affected and really suffered during the high and low of inflation rate. The basic impression on economic inflation is the increase in the price level of all goods. It is said that the lower rate of inflation is better for the country. That is, the lower rate of inflation, the lower prices of basic commodities. In a country like Philippines, this very idea seems to be very difficult to understand because no matter how the government say the inflation is getting better, people cannot see it because the prices of goods and services are getting higher. There are two issues related in this assignment that we identify, which is the impact of pandemic COVID-19 towards the inflation rate of Philippines and government fiscal stimulus to control the inflation rate in Philippines. Therefore, all parties must involve together in managing the country's economy. It has to act all government agencies to keep inflation manageable. Managing the inflation is bigger than our life that is so tough to sustain because inflation means our economy. It is the measure how far can we go and how much we are behind. All government's ultimate goal is to maintain a strong and sustainable economic growth, but there are so many factors to consider in making it work right. The government is there to look after its people, and one of their goals is to provide everyone a higher standard of living. This is all because economic is very important for the country and its people. Thank you.